And we'll just start with Mr. Palmosina because he's on the left.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to see everybody out here. I'm the new guy on the block. I'm from the West End. I'm 53 years old. I was a city employee for 32 years. I'm now the Public Works Director out in Collier Township. District 12 is a very diverse district. It goes from Broadhead, Ferrywood, in the West End, where I'm from, up through Westwood, through Greentree, Ingram, Roslyn Farms, Mile Oliver, Dormont, up to Brookline, through Beachview. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of things I think that we can do. The one thing we did when I was working for the city is we had a program called the CETA program. It was for underprivileged kids. I was the last of 7 kids. My father died when I was 5 years old, so when I was 15 years old, I was available for that program, and I worked. My brother and I worked, and they made us laborers. They put us in all different communities, so we knew everywhere from Westwood to Oakwood to Homewood to Chicken Hill. So we knew what it was like for different people to live in different areas, and everybody had their different problems. That being said, as a government official, I think it's my job that nobody should go without basic needs, food and somewhere to sleep. That being said, we need to find a way to provide that, whether it's through more farmers markets in the neighborhood. Last week I was in Beachview for a community cleanup, and they have a garden over there, and they're making vegetables, and I think stuff like that is the way to go. We can provide that way with not much money and not much effort, but it takes people like ourselves that care to go out there and do that. The CETA program was a good program. They also had a lunch program. Yes? Oh, I'm sorry, 2 minutes. I thought you had a question already. It's like, holy heck. Accountability, it's very simple. It's my job, if I am elected, to make these things happen, not by sitting behind a desk. It's by being out there with the people. I've been on the path for 3 months now running for this. This is a part-time job. I care. So that being said, you'll see me out here. You'll see me in your gardens. You'll see me trying to provide these services. How do you do that? Well, it's through the elected officials. They got to work together. The mayors all just spoke right now, and that's great. You know, they're all trying to get the job. When that job is done, they have to work together. The guy that wins, that's fine. But the 2 guys that lose, do they go into the sunset? I don't know. If I lose, you'll still see me here. So that being said, racial equality. Everyone needs to be treated equally. You know, them days are over. Women, children, we need to work together. This is America. We need to go out there and help each other, not fight against each other. The other thing is, there is available programs out there, but people have to be educated. They have to know where to find these things. You know, the youth of today, they need to be educated on healthy choices, what's good to eat, what their bodies need, not just a quick hit and move on their way. So those kind of educational programs need to be provided through all the different neighborhoods. That being said, transportation. It's great to have these programs in certain neighborhoods, but how about the neighborhoods that don't have transportation? Where are they going? How are they getting there? These are things as elected official, if I am lucky enough and fortunate enough to get this position, I will try to provide. And the way to do that, once again, I guess that means 15 seconds, is just to be active. And that's what I promise I'll do. Once again, I thank you. I appreciate your time, and I'll take any questions when we're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Palmosina. And Mr. Ellenbogen.
Yeah, thank you. After listening to the mayor's debate, I'm starting to think those lead soldiers that we played with when we were kids may have led to me doing this. A little bit about myself. I've lived in this district for 32 years. I'm originally an East Liberty kid. I grew up in the city school system, you know, grew up in a rough neighborhood, graduated from Peabody High School before it was fashionable to be in those neighborhoods. So I kind of lived the experience that a lot of folks. I've seen poverty firsthand. I've seen drugs firsthand. It affected my family. So, you know, I've had a vested interest growing up. My mother died when I was young, so But a little bit about myself, you know, how many candidates or guys you know that were zookeepers that worked their way through college. That would be me, training elephants when I was a kid. But I graduated from University of Pittsburgh. My degrees are in economics and finance. I have an LTAP from Penn State. I have management training from Allegheny College. I was the former chief of special services for Allegheny County, and I'm a U.S. biological responder and a terrorist instructor. And I'm former chief of enforcement for the Pennsylvania DOR. That being said, I think the food issue has to deal with food insecurity versus poverty. And we know food insecurity, we have 14.2% of this county is classified as people who are having food insecurity. We also have, which equates to over 40-some thousand children. Poverty level, we have 150-some thousand people in Allegheny County who are classified as poverty. That equating to over 40,000. How this affects minorities? 3 times, there's a triple amount of those folks that are minorities, and the employment among minorities is twice as much. I think the fair question to me is not what I'm going to do, but what have you done for the last 10 years as a county councilman? The state of Pennsylvania, unlike most of the states in the United States, has a solid grasp on these kind of issues, and they want to be the ones to push the money down. In other states, they give it to the counties, and they say, okay, you handle it. So as a councilman, some of the things that I've done is I am a strong supporter, and I'm on the Health and Human Services Committee, and I'm also the chairman of Public Safety. I've been a strong proponent of Dr. Hacker in the Health Department and Mark Cherna in the Human Resources Department. And some of the things that we've done is the WIC program, which is the Women, Infant, and Children program. So up until children are 5 years old, they're taught how to take care of babies. If they can't produce food for them nutritionally, we help them with that. 1 minute. The after-school lunch program, the farmers market voucher program, Meals and Wheels, 412 food rescue. So a lot of this is attacking the issue. And one of the issues that hasn't been talked about is mental health. We have serious mental health problems in this county, and these folks are unable to work, which leads to their families being poverty-stricken. I fought for better wages. I fought for, better personal health of people and trying to prepare people for these things. One of the things we're doing right now in my 15 seconds is we got some grant money to do some financial analysis of where our money's going. So hopefully when we get that data digitally, we'll know better how to spend our money to do that. Did I make it?
You did. Congratulations. And thanks to both of our county council candidates. Let's give them a warm hand. And